They tried to stop my shine, but I said, hold up. Y'all know how many hoes done tried to hold this hoe up?
Tokyo
Talk
boy.
the music. You can't tell me shit. I'm on iTunes trick. You can't tell me shit. I'm on iTunes trick. What? 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 How y'all doing this week? How y'all doing this week? It's your boy Craig with Craig's Pop Life Podcast, newly available on your iTunes. Check it out, subscribe, you know, rate that shit. Just do your thing, Mama, I made it. I'm on iTunes. So anyway, you know me. I'm Craig Seymour, veteran music journalist. You can catch up on my work at rnbeing.com. You can check out my books, my biography, Luther, The Life and Longing of Luther Vandross, which, contrary to some opinions on the internets, actually exists. You can check my memoir about being a stripper hoe in grad school, All I Could Bear, My Life in the Strip Clubs of Gay Washington, D.C., or you could check my novel, Who's Your Daddy? About three generations of gay men looking for love, looking for love. Aren't we all looking for love? Not really, but some of us are. Different times in our life, you know what I'm saying? I'll address that a little bit later. But anyway, or you can pre-order my upcoming book, Special, A Critical Meditation on the Life and Artistry of Janet Jackson. If you're hashtag Jan fam out there, I know a lot of you are. Why wouldn't you be? And I thank you for the support. So let's get started with this week's pop culture observation and picks. We're gonna start out with the good sis Mimi. Uh, a lot going on with her this week, but I'm doing this on Thursday night. Early Friday morning. It's 3 a.m. But whatever. It's about the time of night or day that I do shit. But anyway, who has done all kinds of wrong on this week's drag race? I mean, no spoilers or anything like that, but I'm looking at these queens like, who are you bitches? Like, who the fuck are you that you don't know basic Mariah Carey shit and that you're like mixing up emotions with Whitney's So Much Shy? Like I said, no spoilers. But and a few of them I could maybe understand because they're a little young, and not everyone was raised right from a musical perspective, so you have to be sympathetic. You don't want to be you don't want to be judging the child for their mama's wax CD collection. You know what I mean? It ain't their fault. But a lot of them bitches are damn near my age, so it's no damn excuse. You lived through the night. You should know the. I mean, how many number ones she got? Like, where were you that you hadn't heard? I mean, I can understand if the one queen was from Vietnam or whatever. That's fine, but it's like, nah. So, I just feel like I need to personally apologize to Mariah on behalf of gay America because that shit just wasn't right. The stuff they were bringing up in the episode just wasn't right to be bringing up. So, like, just please, 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 please. Um, and in other kind of not that good Mariah news this week, I need to take a breath, y'all. Okay, we finally got a No No remix that none of us wanted. I mean, with Stefan Don, that a lot of us hadn't even heard of. And I just feel like here's my thing about the whole remix situation, because I know there's been a lot of controversy, been a lot of talk on the Twitter and whatnot. I mean, I never believed in a Cardi Lil Kim remix. I mean, she said that on Watch What Happens Live. It's just kind of like an I hope. And, she was in New York. Cardi's in New York. Lil Kim's in New York. I think she was trying. And, Mariah, I've been in the studio with Mariah doing a remix when she was doing the Thank God I Found You remix with Joe and Nas. Like, Mariah does a remix like in a day. Mariah's like calls up some people and it's together and it's done that night and it's on. So I just think she was it was like, and she likes working in the studio late, so she was doing Watch What Happens Live. It was around 11 o'clock. I think she was just putting the Cardi, Lil Kim thing out there as if, they could just go ahead and just text her people and meet up in the studio after after the show. She'd stay in the same dress, maybe put on some house shoes, pour a little champagne, a little splash, and it'd be on. So that's kind of how I think she was thinking. I don't think it was all that serious. I think she would have been down if it was down, if it could have come together and whatnot. But I don't think she was anything she was really pressed about. But the thing is, like, I knew, like, Barty's people weren't going to have her jump on anything that wasn't, like, guaranteed destined for the top of the charts, because they wouldn't want to fuck up her track record. Everything she jumps on, like, if she's going to jump on a real pop record, it's one of them things that's like destined for number one, number two, number three, at least top 10. And, if you think, I mean, No No is such an R&B record. And if you think about it, like, I'm sure somebody could remind me, but I can't even really think of a lot of R&B records that Cardi has had features on. Like, to me, when I think of a Cardi feature, I'm either thinking of something that's real hip hop or completely pop. Like, I don't really feel like she kind of moves within the R&B world. Although, I mean, she has some R&B joints on her album, like with the Kalani joint and the SZA joint. It's like I don't really feel like she jumps on remixes. Maybe she'll be on their future remixes. Of course, there's tons to remix on the Kalani album. That's fire. And SZA's about to drop. So, maybe that'd be in the future. But right now, I don't really feel like she does R&B joints. And, they are not going to fuck up her track record just to do a favor, even for a legend. That's just wasn't going to happen. So I never had my investment in that. Now, the Little Kim thing, I mean, I don't know, let me be diplomatic or let me not. But anyway, I mean, let me just preface this with saying that Hardcore is one of my all-time favorite albums. We're not talking rap albums. We just talking albums, period. Okay. But let's be grown about it. We all know that Biggie wrote the whole damn thing. I mean, you can hear all the demos on YouTube. So, let's be a little bit cautious in claiming lyricism for somebody, because we really don't know how it all gets down, how it all got down in terms of the classic joints. And I was a Little Kim fan for a long, long time, but honestly, I have not enjoyed a Little Kim record since Lighters Up in 2005. Her and Mary all in the video, all on the rooftop. That was the last time I really enjoyed a Little Kim joint. And the thing about it is, not only the other stuff that has come afterwards, it's not even like that was just like, all right. I mean, the shit's been bad. It's just been straight garbage, in my opinion, including that new Go Off mess, and so I didn't want her to get a No No all musty, I didn't want her to mess the joint up. I'd rather just keep my Crush on You memories intact. And that's no hate on the legend. Like, I appreciate her. I was there. Like, I was there looking at, her squatting down, plaster on the subway in New York, before the album was even out. Like, I was Queen Bitch, rocking Queen Bitch before Jay was even on it. Do you know what I mean? So, like, or it's not on Queen Bitch. He's on but Big Mama Thing. Okay, yeah, I was rocking Big Mama Thing with where she was the whole song. So I've been down with Little Kim. I respect the legacy and all that kind of stuff, but the new stuff just hadn't been popping, and so I didn't really feel like, what was she gonna do with the song? But I feel like there are a lot of female rappers that could have gotten on the track and it would have been hot. And I'm not saying that it had to be a female rapper, but it seemed like that was the lane that she was kind of trying to go in. Like, I think having Young M.A. on it would have been hot and hood as fuck. Young M.A. can spit. She's been killing it with these freestyles, like the freestyle of what's that what's the Clips joint? What is the name of that Clips joint? Grinding. Yeah, you should YouTube. Well, and I'll put all these on my website, CraigsPopLife.com. All these. I'll put all the links and the videos and stuff so y'all can follow what I'm saying. But Young and May would have been fantastic. Okay. Also Malibu Mitch. Do y'all know about Malibu Mitch? Like I love Malibu Mitch. I can't wait for her to, drop a complete project or give us something complete because the little things that I've been hearing from her, I love. She has a sexy kind of tight flow. My favorite cut by her is called "Give Her Some Money." Um, and then she recently did, which was hot. She's very respectful of, the people that have come before, the women that that blaze a trail in hip hop that she's following. So for the 20th anniversary of Foxy Brown's China Doll album, she kind of reshot the cover with her in it, and then she did a remix of Fox Boogie's China White, which is hot. Again, I'll put that on my website. So all of those people would have been perfect. And my other thing is like, Mariah usually keeps her street to the ground, keeps her ear to the street. So, in terms of who's popping and hip hop and stuff like that, like she always has the person that's either currently hot or the person that's got next. I mean, she's always been that person. Sometimes it hasn't gone the right way. Well, like I wish what's the song with the Peter Guns and the Lord Tariq thing, with the Stay a Little Wild Child sample? Is that the My All remix? Anyway, I wish I had that remix without them on it because they were kind of like one hits wonders with Uptown, whatever it's called, Uptown Anthem, and I just like decades later, it just doesn't hold up. Where the song, the music of it really does. So I just wish I had a rapless version, but that's neither here nor there. But I just have two other remix related beefs regarding Mariah these days. Well, first of all, if you're gonna make me listen to this, UK rapper that I don't even want to, listen to, and this is nothing against UK rappers in general or just whatever, but it just is very random for her to just throw on this rapper for a US release who hasn't really broken that big in the US. I mean, I can understand if, throughout the 90s, they used to throw on all sorts of people on remixes on the singles that were released in the UK because I'd be buying them for the like the dance mixes and stuff, and you'd see it and be also like the Flavor Crew, if that's even a thing, something like that, or the Full Crew, somebody's crew. But there used to be these groups of rappers that would be on the UK releases of these Mary J. Blige songs and other people's songs that we didn't even know and never came here. But why are you gonna put? I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I, I kind of wish there would had been some kind of explanation that would have helped us. Like if she said, "Oh, I'm really feeling this rap," or something like, "Oh, you know, y'all not gonna y'all not gonna know what hits you when you hear this rapper from the UK." Just something to give us some context of why this person is on the remix. I think that would have also helped. I think it really didn't play right with all the rumors of Barty and Little Kim, and then just out of the blue, we get Stefflon Don. So I think part of it was just the rollout. But then I'm like, I want those additional vocals from the video. And I was like, at least if I'm gonna have to sit through this, let me have those additional vocals. Or even better, can we get the video version just straight released? Just that would be great because those additional, vocals at the end of the video version are fire. So I want the movement stop complaining about this remix. Just if you don't like it, don't stream it. Shit, like what's to complain about? Stop doing that and maybe start a movement toward us getting the video version of the song released. And then secondly, this has just really bothered me. I mean, I've really loved a lot about the Caution era. Like I love the songs, the album's tight. All the videos have been on point. I mean, she's never looked more beautiful. Just the art direction, the styling, the hair, the makeup, the lashes for days, everything has just been right. But I'm like, where in the hell are the dance mixes? Like, where are the dance mixes? She's known for dance mixes, but this is the first project we didn't even get one. And I mean, you think about it, even on Mia and Mariah, we got a whole remix situation for Your Mind Eternal. And then we got a really great mix. One of her, well, I would put it up there with her classic mixes, um, the Little Louis Vega mix of Beautiful, which is fantastic. You know, it's very soulful, club joint. But with this, we get nothing. So I'm like, a lot of what her current team, whoever they may be, are doing a good job, but somebody up there doesn't really understand the range of musical tastes that exist within the Lamely, and that a lot of us are club heads, and a lot of us got into Mariah in the first place through the club remix joints. Like, I liked her all right, and I bought the first album. We were cool, whatever, whatever. But when I heard the Emotions remix, with that gospel intro and all that kind of stuff, I was a stan. After that set it off for me, and I've been on that ride ever since. So to not get any dance mixes on a Mariah project, I just feel that kind of it's just not right. It's a little bit of a betrayal toward the fan base. Not blaming her at all, but I just think that's something. It's kind of like when Janet released 20YO and there were no club joints, on the album, where previously she had given us, Throb, the classic, and then she had given us like, even Together Again has a dance thing, so she had given us those kind of like house music vibes, but there was nothing like that on 20YO. And I even asked her about it when I interviewed her. We were getting off the plane, and I was just like, the one thing I didn't hear on the album, because JD played me the album for the Vibe cover story I wrote in 2006. And I was like, the one thing I didn't hear was a real club joint. And she was like, yeah, I do think I kind of need something like that. So it was even in her mind, but I guess at that point it was too late or whatever. They never got around to doing it. So to me, I feel kind of the same way. Like, without a club element, with Janet and with Mariah, there's something kind of missing, something not completely right with the project. So that's just my 2 cents, whatever, for whatever it's worth. Um, in other music news, Craig music news that I'm listening to, I'm still on the Solange tip. I know some people are just trying to like it and just can't get into it. I just have the opposite experience. Like, it's just a vibe to me. I would sit there and play the whole video album, just have that in the background, just watching the imagery and all that kind of stuff over and over in a day. And I really recommend the video album, but it's only on Apple Music, so I understand people not watching it because they don't have Apple Music. And I actually had to sign up for it in order to watch it, but that's just how deep I go with Solange. But I just can't stand Apple Music. Like, I just don't want Apple up in everything. Like, I already have iPhone, MacBook, and iMac. So I'm down with the brand for those products and everything like that. And I like most of the software, and I even like iTunes, but I just don't need. It just seems like the Apple Music mixes with the iTunes, and everything gets all mixed up. And next thing you know, it's playing something that you downloaded back in 2004 or something, and it's just craziness. Um, and the other thing is, I don't want to stream every damn thing. I mean, some things, especially stuff that I really like, I really just want to own that and just have that in a hard copy somewhere, or have it, because the thing about streaming that people are going to learn at some point is shit just randomly will disappear from streaming. And then when something randomly disappears from streaming, it just doesn't exist. Because nowadays it's not like they press CDs of everything. Of most things they don't. So there are certain things, like, this is just random. I may have even talked about this before, but like Shaka Khan's previous single before this new project, I Love Myself. I really love that song. I like the remixes too, and I have the remixes, but I really like the original song. And I used to just play it on streaming, play it on Tidal, whatever, whatever. All of a sudden, it wasn't on Tidal. So I said, oh, well, let me check Spotify. I go to Spotify. It ain't on Spotify. So then heart starts racing. I get panicked because that's my joint. That's my little feel good, feel good about myself joint. So I need that. There's some days I need to hear that shit. So then I rushed to iTunes, like, let me quick download it. I guess if it's disappearing, it's not on iTunes either. So the song has just disappeared into the universe. Go on eBay. Is anybody selling it? No, because there was never a single of it. Even a promo. They don't even send promo singles to radio stations anymore. Everything is digital download. So now I have to just watch the video of it on YouTube. That's the only version of it that exists in the webosphere or whatever. So, just little annoying things like that. I don't want to stream everything. I wish I could just buy the Solange video album, either download it for purchase or, give me a good DVD, Blu-ray, something. But like I said, that's probably personal because I know a lot of people aren't necessarily into the album. But if you, like me, are, and you want to catch some of the visuals, but you're not trying to fuck with Apple Music, well, I better be careful to talk about Apple Music. And my ass just got on iTunes. I don't want to be kicked off this quick. But anyway, if for some reason you are not a current subscriber and you've already done too many free trials, the Almeida video is on the good YouTube Vivo type situation, and also Ben's, which is one of my favorite joints on the album. That video is also on YouTube now. And another thing for Solange people, Solange fans don't have we don't have no name, do we? Because I hope we don't have a name I don't know about. But anyway, there's also a Juke remix of Almeida by Sango, and that's really hot. And I'll put that on the website too. So a lot going on there. Another thing, I'm still on the Normani tip. I still think that she's a legend in the making. And this last week, she did a phenomenal performance on The Tonight Show. And Questlove even called it one of the best first performances that he's seen in the history of the show. So you should check that out. I'll put that on the website. But she does Waves and with Black, and it's the performance is just incredible. Just the level of her commitment in a live performance, and she's, I'm not calling her the next Beyonce or anything like that because that's irritating, but the way that she incorporates movement with her vocals and with the songs, and it's all just kind of integrated, and not just regular sort of movement, but like dramatic movement. It's very Beyonce like the dance she doesn't. Beyonce and Normani, like, they don't break into dance breaks or anything like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the dance isn't like a separate part of the song. It's like the dance is incorporated throughout the whole song, and it's just really stunning to watch. So again, check out Waves, Normani doing Waves on The Tonight Show. And then there's just been some random stuff that I've been discovering that I discovered in last week. Like, did y'all know Dawn Robinson has a club joint out with Mood to Swing? I had no idea. I mean, maybe she tweeted about it. I wouldn't know. I'm blocked. For some reason, I do not know. But, I had no idea. And it's really cute. It's called Get Up. It's kind of like that mellow house kind of groove, the kind that you used to hear at clubs and stuff, but now, you mostly hear it like sushi restaurants or like lounges and stuff like that, but it's still all good. But it's nice. I mean, she's still the same old Dom. It's still the voice they gave us Don't Let Go Love and Don't Mess With My Man and all that kind of stuff. So I would check it out. It's Mood to Swing featuring Don Robinson, Get Up. And the other thing is, did y'all know there was a Teddy Pendergrass remix EP? Yeah, it's called Mix Mag Presents Teddy Pendergrass. And, Teddy is known, of course, for his ballads. He's known for telling people to turn off the lights and to close the door. He has all sorts of directions for people in the bedroom. But I personally did really love his club stuff. Like, I love You Can't Hide From Yourself, because everywhere you go, there you are. That's one of my favorite joints. And Bad Luck by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes is definitely one of my all-time favorite disco cuts. So I really like Teddy's voice within a dance music context. And this remix album, it's fun. It's like, if you don't take it too seriously or anything like that, like, there are better Teddy remixes that I've heard and all of this kind of stuff. But it's fun. It's like, there's a Life is a Song Worth Singing remix that has a kind of Donna Summer I Feel Love vibe. Um, the other tracks like I Don't Love You Anymore, Only You, The More I Get, The More I Want, are kind of in the vein of like the disco re-edits that were kind of really big in the aughts, like especially in the UK and stuff like that, kind of where they kind of take a disco song, kind of rearrange it and kind of add a little bit of effects and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff like that. And then Do Me has a kind of slower dub feel that kind of closes off the set. So again, I definitely think it's worth a first listen if you like dance music and stuff like that, like me. And you don't get enough of it these days because you remember the time in the '90s where every single song had a house remix to it, every single R&B song had a house remix to it, and now no songs seem to even songs by you know former club queens like Mariah don't get your dance remix. So I find myself hungry for club music. So, you know, if you're like me, it's worth a listen. And you may like it enough to add it to your good workout playlist or whatever. Like I said, it's worth a listen. So, moving on to TV. Now, I have a confession to make because I think I've talked about this on a couple of shows about liking American Soul. But y'all, this past couple of weeks, I just had to give it up. I mean, it's the kind of thing, you are kind of tired of a show when, like, because if you have a DVR and, you kind of aren't in a rush to watch that week's episode. And then before you know, another episode is on. Before you know, you have a couple to watch and you just like, you know what? I just don't even. I mean, to me, I thought it had a really good premise. I liked, it's always nice to have a black drama on because too many times we're put in a comedic context. So, like, an hour long black drama is still rare. And so I still respect that as, as a form and as something to do. But to me, it just got too damn heavy. Like the storylines just got very, very heavy. It still was getting to the point where I couldn't necessarily differentiate people or know their connections to each other and like what the storyline was and all that kind of stuff. And to be honest, even when it began, like even when the news came out that there was going to be a Soul Train based show, I'm thinking like Disco Soul Train. I'm thinking there's gonna be a Jodie Watley-ish character. I'm thinking, they're gonna form a band like Shalimar. And Jodie once told me in an interview that that the dancers were nothing but a bunch of queens who were very catty and stuff backstage. So I'm picturing like backstage, bitch. I don't know you, bitch. I'm not. Those are my platform shoes. No, you won't wear my bell bottom. I'm picturing stuff like that. And what I got, I was really willing to rock with initially, but I'm not really. I just given it up. So I'm sorry if people have watched it on my recommendation, and you know, I mean, if you watch my recommendation, you still fucking with it, then I'm glad. But I kind of rescind my recommendations. I just say don't start. If you haven't started it, I would not say. Certainly don't start it on my account. Um, but the show I'm still with and really enjoying more each week. I'm loving that motherfucking Boomerang. Like, I really am. I mean, a lot of people didn't like the first episode, and what I would say, if you were starting Boomerang out, you definitely should make it through episode 3, which I think is a good, I just think that's a good TV rule anyway, because, the first episode is the pilot, so that's always going to be kind of separate to everything else. The second episode, you're getting back and getting your groove. I think I've said all this before, but the third episode is kind of like you're in the groove, you're kind of going in the direction of where the series as a whole is going. And I just think it's really interesting. I mean, on the one hand, there's this cute, really cute to me, unrequited love storyline. But at the heart of it, it's really a show that kind of deals with Black people talking about or giving various perspectives on what it means to be Black. I mean, the core of so many of the conversations in that show really goes back to that issue of like, what does it mean to be Black? What does it mean to be Black in this context? What does it mean to be Black in that context? What does it mean to be Black if you're trying to, cross over, trying to be an internet celebrity? What does it mean to be Black if you are an indie filmmaker. I mean, it's just all of those kind of things that I really think are very provocative, and I think it's doing something very new within the context of a basic cable sitcom. So I definitely think it deserves a chance to grow. So I'm hoping people watch it. I'm hoping people don't let BET one day at a time it. I'm hoping that there'll be enough viewership so that they renew it because I really feel, and it's under the helm of Lena Waithe. I really just feel like it's one of those shows that if we support it in its trying to find its feet days, like it will really deliver in the future. So I would recommend starting Boomerang, especially if you is there any holiday coming up or something like, or is it just spring break? Because I live in South Beach and like there are just too many damn people roaming around. So I don't know if it's a holiday, if it's just people just spring breaking, but whatever it is, kind of on my goddamn nerves. But the last thing about Boomerang though is it stars Taquan Richmond. He was the little brother from Everybody Hates Chris, but child, he's all grown up now. He's lean, fit, and as fit and as fine as fuck. So I need y'all to watch just so I can get me some more bedroom scenes, some more shirtless scenes. I mean, he can be at the gym, he can be running shirtless outside, and it's done in Atlanta, so it'd be hot. So you can be running with the shirt off. All sorts of. I'm gonna need those to happen. So if y'all could just support a brother on that, and just tune in the show, I would very much appreciate it. Now, moving on to books. I just finished Veronica Chambers' essay collection. I mean, it's kind of an anthology. It's with other people, but Queen Bee: A Celebration of the Power and Creativity of Beyonce Knowles Carter. Uh, it's a really nice collection. I mean, I just first of all, just on GP. I mean, and as a music journalist, I would just always appreciate when there's something in the marketplace that treats our artists seriously. Because we can have artists that are popular as fuck and not have any written works on them to kind of go down for posterity, to kind of like be in the Library of Congress for people, generation from now to find out about. We have our popular figures, we don't even have stuff written on, but yet if you cross over into the white world, like there are books on like just indie bands that haven't begun to sell as much in terms of numbers or even have as much wide impact. There are whole books on these motherfuckers, just because it's like that's the kind of music that a lot of the younger white folks in publishing listen to, a lot of the music journalists, that's the kind of, white, that's the kind of music that they listen to. So they're all having similar conversations. So that's how these books are getting out there. So I just applaud whenever there's a good, and serious. I don't mean heavy. I don't mean not fun, but just, I mean serious in terms of taking black music, taking black artists seriously. If there's a serious book on a black artist. So, because you would think that there would be a whole library on good stuff about Beyonce, but there really isn't. There are a couple of books, whatever. So, all that to say, this is a really nice collection. It has some excellent contributors. Folks like it has Kid Fury from The Read, former MSNBC host Melissa Harris Perry, and who does, is a professor and does a whole lot of other stuff. I don't know why I even just brought up the MSNBC thing, but it's not like she's not, um, important just in her own right if she had never been on MSNBC. Edward Enninful, the black editor of British Vogue, and done so much stuff over the years, and friend of Naomi. It's always an important, thing to note, an important biographical thing to note. Choreographer Fatima Robinson, who's known for all her work with Aaliyah, and she worked with Beyonce on Dreamgirls, because the choreography in that movie is fierce. Ebro from Hot 97, and Brittany Cooper of the Crunk Feminist Collection. She has this excellent book. If you haven't read it, go read it. If you read it, buy it for a friend. It's that kind of important, I think, just to be kind of a general thing that black folks are reading and can have a conversation on different subjects, kind of using her book as sort of a general knowledge that we all have, but it's called Eloquent Rage: A Black Feminist Discovers Her Superpower. I definitely recommend that. But my favorite pieces in the book are by Professor Michael Eric Dyson, um, Hollywood It, Every Damn Thing, Lena Waithe. Well, I mentioned before, is the force behind one of the creative forces behind Boomerang, and all around internet superstar Lovey of Awesomely Lovey. Dr. Dyson just offers some really great descriptions of Beyonce's music, which can be kind of hard to pin down for people. And let me just read this. This is about her voice. I just think it's so cool. Okay, him talking. This is Michael Eric Dyson. Although I can't talk like Michael Eric Dyson because Michael Eric Dyson is an orator like none other. So I'm just gonna read in my little Craig voice. So Beyonce's voice unleashes a cascade of notes down mountains of styles, some craggy with delightfully hostile hip hop beats that disrespect linear rhythms. Others smoothed in R&B melodies and harmonies that form an archipelago of gospel grooves in her acoustic topography. Dope, right? And I can't even believe I hadn't even sort of highlighted that as a word I needed to think about pronouncing. But sometimes that goes to show you, if you're not self-conscious about something, you just read it, you just go through it. Had I highlighted it, I probably would have fucked it up. But anyway, and this is him talking about her songs, which have very unconventional structures and things like that. He says Beyonce renders pop songs as tone poems, transforming her art through stories of female aspiration, feminist resistance, and racial pride. So I just think that's a really good way to put Beyonce what she do. And then Lena Waithe, she shares a really personal story that I like. Where is it? Okay, here she go. I fell in love with my fiance when the self-titled Beyonce album hit. I wanted the things she talked about in that album, to feel that passion and connection to someone. Like, I really felt that in my spirit because, like, honestly, you know, in general, I'm just kind of a jaded fuck love type of bitch. Like, and that's basically the premise of my novel, Who's Your Daddy? But when I watch Beyonce's self-titled video album, I do sometimes wonder. I'm like, am I really a jaded fuck love type of bitch, or am I just like in the haunted video, and I still have several songs, several cycles to go through before I get to Blue. Which I understand is about Blue, her daughter, but I feel like the sentiments in Blue really just um, relate to any kind of great relationship that's grounded in love. Because for me, I know the only love I want at this point in my life, at this grown ass point in my life, the only love I want, the only relationship that I'll be willing to make the sacrifices for that are necessary in every relationship is if it feels something like what she's describing in Blue. If it's not like that, a bitch is busy. Miss me with that. I don't have time for it. But, like I said, like that still exists as a kind of, I wouldn't say goal for me. I would just say a possibility, where a lot of times I'm just like, I'm through with love. I'm like Destiny's Child and I mean, the situation. But, occasionally there's like, you know what? Like, to feel about somebody the way she's singing about somebody in Blue, like, that might be life enhancing or whatever. That I could see that, perhaps, maybe. So we'll see. Of course, I'll keep y'all posted if that happens. And then lastly, Lovey's piece that she posted around the time, she posted this right after Beachella. It's called Beachella is proof that Beyonce is the greatest performer alive. I'm not arguing. And of course, it tells you why she thinks that. But then she also offers some really good advice that I think is really good life lessons in that. She says, no matter how good you are, there will be people who don't like you. Ain't that the truth? There are people who don't think Beyonce is talented. So there will be people who don't think your work is remotely good. Keep doing it anyway. I was like, all right, Lovey, that's really a good lesson because it really is true. And one thing I can say, and this is why I always just tell people to do stuff, because I think a lot of times when it comes to writing, like it's interesting to me, like if you wanted to be a photographer, people would just say, okay, just start taking pictures and put them on Instagram, right? If you want to be, kind of like a video personality or something, just make a video and put it on YouTube. But for some reason, people still have this idea that you can't just write something and put it out there for people. Or like if you do, you're kind of just sort of pigeonholed as a blogger, and somehow your writing is not deemed as credible or as anything um, as a so-called writer. And I mean, as a published author, self-published and published by HarperCollins, Simon and Schuster, what? Test me. You know, um, I just think people need to be freer to just put something out to the world, because the thing is, you can't edit your way into everybody liking your stuff, no matter how polished it is, no matter how, whatever it is, no matter how many editors it's gone through, if it has this seal of approval, that seal of approval, if it's gotten great reviews in the press, no matter what, there are still going to be people that can't stand a word that you wrote and wish you had never put pen to paper or put your fingers on a typewriter. That's just the way it goes. So, knowing that, then don't let it stop you from doing something, because you just know going into it, okay, some people aren't going to like this, but I'm writing it for the people, I'm writing it for myself and the people who are like me. And so I'm just going to keep it pushing. That's the advice that I have, but that's not the advice that most writers get. Because I'm like, if you're a writer of any sort of that feels any kind of way about writing and about kind of improving your craft, there are a billion ways to learn how to be a better writer. There are books on it, there are seminars you can take, there are online courses, whatever. So you can get better, but if you don't start doing something, then who's reading your stuff? Like, what? It's like you're always going to be put on. Okay, well, if I take one more course, I'll put something out there. If I do one more thing, just start putting out something out there and just get better as you go, and you'll find an audience. And the thing is, if you're really true to yourself and to your message, then you're probably saying something that somebody else out there is not saying, or they're not saying in the same way. So there will be people that connect to you just because you are saying something in a way that connects to them in a way that other people don't connect to them. Those people, because they feel like they're being seen and they feel like somebody can relate to what they're going through, they will forgive a couple typos. I mean, you can, first of all, you can run it through Grammarly a million times, but they will forgive a couple typos. They will forgive a couple of whatever because of what you're saying. And then they will be with you and be cheering for you as you get better. So just go ahead and do it. And I don't know who I'm talking to. Maybe nobody out there wants to write. Maybe it's not relevant to anybody, but it's just something. It was on my spirit, so I just had to say it. So, lastly, another really cool thing in the book is there's this essay called What Beyoncé Means to Everyone. And it's kind of like a visual thing, it has a lot of infographics and charts. Like there's this word cloud that shows that words like baby, don't, like, can, love, that, and all are some of the most used songs in Beyonce songs. So, most used words, rather, in Beyonce songs. And this is another chart that made me feel real good about myself. It was the interest in Beyonce by state. Okay, and these are the top 5 in reverse order. Okay, number 5 is Georgia. I've lived in Atlanta a number of times. Number 4 is DC. I'm DC all day. I was born in DC. What? Number 3, Maryland. I also rep Maryland. I also spent a lot of time in Silver Spring, Maryland. Number 2, Mississippi. And number 1, Louisiana. So, like, I'm feeling beehive as fuck because I represent Maryland and DC. So I'm like, where y'all living? Like, is y'all really hive? Like, that made, and I just think those cities are surprising. Now, I know a lot of people, New Yorkers and stuff like that. New York is actually number 6. So, But I just thought that was really interesting, especially in terms of the DC and Maryland, with them being so close together. I don't know, just interesting to me. So that is the good book, Queen Bee: A Celebration of the Power and Creativity of Beyonce Knowles Carter, that I definitely recommend if you are into Beyonce. Um, and so before I close this good old episode, I want to tell y'all about one more thing. This week, in addition to doing this podcast, I'm a guest on another podcast, the Janet Jackson podcast, called Janet Today, Janet Tomorrow, Janet Forever. And on the podcast, I talk about my upcoming book, Special, A Critical Meditation on the Life and Artistry of Janet Jackson. And then each week, they have kind of like a song of the week for discussion. So this week's, it's What's It Gonna Be, the duet with Busta. So check out that episode if you're not sick of hearing me after this. And so I hope y'all have enough suggestions about things to listen to, things to watch, things to read to hold you over for the next 7 days. And I'll talk to you next week. Until then, you know what it is. Be cool, be kind, be creative, and in the words of my fave,
Be your damn self.
all right, y'all. Love y'all. Bye.